Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on Disney Plus. So we're here live on YouTube. So a big hello to everyone in the live chat. Now today's is a little bit different than normal because of the coronation of King Charles. I decided let's open it up for all of our subscribers so anyone can join in on questions. So I've got no pre-done questions this week. We're doing something a little bit different. So all of our questions are in the live chat. So you have to be a member or sort of a subscriber for about 10-15 minutes. I've done that just primarily just to try and help with a little bit of spam to make sure everyone is a subscriber. If there are any comments that are inappropriate, I will delete you and might even completely mute you or kick you. But generally, I'm going to try and do as many questions as I possibly can, aiming for about 45 minutes to an hour, as long as the questions keep coming in and looking at the speed that the questions are all coming in. So I can already see here, we're just going to put somebody out. So there we go. So that started quite well. So let's jump into it. So I can see we've got quite a few people in here. I can just see. So I can see here we've got Ryan, we've got Alexia, we've got Taran, we've got Fanboy Universe, a whole host of people in here. So a big hello and welcome to all of you. So the main question I asked, because basically I needed a question to kind of name the show, was what do you think of Disney Plus right now? So I'm going to try and keep everything. We'll try and keep everything on Disney Plus related and all of that. So let's jump into it. So big hello to Ryan, Alex. We've also got Fanboy Universe. So this is our first question here from Alesso. So I think Disney Plus is still good as of right now, but they need more legacy media like House of Mouse and more legacy new adult media like Daredevil, Born Again, the Alien movies, and more. Well, I think this is a key thing right now for Disney Plus. I feel like we're in this situation of following Bob Iger's coming back and them trying to get the streaming kind of business sorted. We are in a point where everything has seemed to have just slowed right down, kind of reevaluating stuff. It does feel like Hulu, which I will refer to as the big green monster, it is a problem in the United States that is causing, I think, for Disney Plus not to be able to grow. Now, I don't know if we're going to see as much stuff coming onto Disney Plus from the general entertainment side. Well, it's kind of weird because, like, if I just bring up here, for example, here is Disney Plus here in the United Kingdom, and we know we have these kind of things. We have Aliens and stuff. We have all those movies, and so I imagine the fact that they've done this everywhere else in the world, I think eventually at some point it is going to happen. But yeah, I definitely think it would be nice too. Taran says Disney Plus right now in the US is pretty bad. Now, I definitely feel like if I was a subscriber in the United States, there wouldn't be a lot I'd be watching. I'd probably be checking out like one or two things a week that's new, the odd little thing here and there, not a huge amount. However, on Hulu, there's a lot of stuff there that I could watch. I generally find myself with Disney Plus, I tend to watch a lot more of the star shows. Like last night, we watched new episode. We're still catching up on Big Sky and Grey's Anatomy, and Will Trent. My wife was watching. I still need to catch up on that one. This afternoon, I've watched a movie that's coming up later this month that I can talk about later on in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I think we'd be back to almost like pre-2021 days where there wasn't as much stuff. So I totally understand why your subscribers are not so happy right now. There's nothing much better to do than just casually rewatch old favorites, classics, including Star Wars and Marvel, unless you're absolutely obsessed and that's all you watch. I think that's the thing with Marvel and Star Wars. Though I would definitely say some of the documentaries are really good. I thought the Ed Sheeran documentary this week was really good. That one I thought was very well done. And whatever his original programming, like Big Shot and Mighty Ducks and others, just really aren't that good. Willow and National Treasure, in particular, were a travesty, if you ask me. I definitely think National Treasure did not meet the level of the National Treasure movies. I thought Willow had something. It could do with some tweaking. It needs to be a little bit tighter, a little bit shorter. I think that they suffer from having too many characters. They probably could have done away with like half the characters, and it would have actually run a little bit better. But I think we're still in like those early stages of things. I do think Willow probably it should have deserved it, but also I think they've got to try and find the right balance. I think trying to make these family-friendly shows, which are just so bland that they're not hitting that audience that they used to, and that they might be able to watch. Fanboy Universe says, I do think Disney Plus is good right now, but I feel like next year in the US they need to improve on some things. Content for more adults, more organized content, and a coming soon and leaving soon section. The coming soon section comes and goes depending on how much stuff they've got coming soon. I think that one drops in and out. Organization of content, if you guys in the US had Star, you'd see. So if I bring up Disney Plus here, I'm going to just bring down that question. One of the big problems with Disney Plus here in the UK is that the organization is really just, it's so higgledy-piggledy. You can't really find anything, and it can be a little, if it's not on the front page, things just get lost because there's thousands of products in here that you just can't watch. So they definitely need some better organization on Disney Plus, and if they're doing this in the US, they need to do this before it can come in there. As far as leaving soon, I definitely think it would be nice. Or even if you just got the little notification in like a title, because if there's only like 1 or 2 titles leaving, just put it in the actual like the show or in the movie that it's leaving at this date or something like that. At least that, because I can see why maybe not doing a leaving soon would matter if you have only got one title a month leaving. You might not want a whole section for it, but at least put the little notification in to do so. SJI says Disney Plus has so much potential, but it's repeatedly missing the mark, both in quality and in storytelling. Yeah, I do feel like we're in this like a weird point now where you would think that we would have moved past some of the bumps. I think it is that still problem of Marvel and Star Wars were carrying the brand, but they got to the point where the quality dipped, especially on the Marvel side, and that has now impacted everything of this whole thing right now of superhero fatigue and Marvel fatigue. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy seems to be doing fantastic this weekend. It is a fantastic film. But I do think Disney Plus added into that, and I feel like Disney has to be very careful with the series and the shows going forward, and therefore they are going to need to use other shows. I'm surprised they're not going to start doing it with maybe some of like the ABC shows and stuff like that. Something like 911 coming up this summer might be like this. You know, it's like, well, you're getting it for the first time. Why not use that as a kind of a show to jump in? Fanboy says a rumor going around that Star Wars Visions season 3 is in the works. Yes, that was as a kind of a rumor going around right now. This second season, so good. Cisco says I prefer it when Visions is just anime. The second season was good though. I get what you're saying with Visions being anime. It did make the first season feel very different, but I enjoyed the second season so much more. And I think one of the key differences, and the only way I can say it is, I feel like with Visions season 1, that felt like that was taking place in a multiverse, whereas the second season felt like it was just taking place within the Star Wars universe that we know and love, but just with a different like visual format. Right, and they felt like they were a part of it. So that's definitely something. Cisco also said, I'd love to see Studio Mapper or Cloverworks do a short Trigger come back yet. Some more of that would be good. Hello to Noel. I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, 2, and 3. Volume 3 is really good. And obviously the first two, a lot of people are watching it this week. Noel says, did you watch A Small Light? Yes, I have seen the entire series. It is fantastic. This is, again, we talk about this kind of stuff for Disney Plus of wanting something that's not Marvel and Star Wars as a high quality drama series. This is it, but it's a very much more. I mean, it didn't trend in the US or in the UK, which is a shame. Maybe it will do with more episodes, but please check it out. It is a fantastic series. I'm going to be definitely saying to you guys to watch that show. It is really good. And I think it was probably right that they maybe took the National Geographic off the logo a little bit for some of the advertising, just to try and get people to watch it, because it is really good. If you want something serious, this is one. Keenan says, did you enjoy Backlash? If you've seen it, no, I have not seen it yet. I'm gonna watch. To be honest, I thought it was tonight because I wasn't used to. I wasn't. So when I logged on early today and saw the results with Carlito running in, I was like, oh, I'll watch that probably tomorrow, maybe when my wife's at work. Kairu Godzilla says they didn't add Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie or Turbo the Power Rangers to Disney Plus in the US because Disney have lost the rights to Power Ranger franchise back in 2010. I don't think it's. I know they did sell the Power Rangers rights, but it's actually, I think it's more the fact of the rights to the actual film, because let's just have a look here. No, it's not on. I was just seeing here if it was. I thought it was on Mighty Morphin. I thought Disney had the rights to. I thought I'd seen it on Disney Plus, but maybe it's gone now. But yeah, so that's one issue. Keenan says, when are we going to get a Disney Plus live stream again? So they have said that there will be one for Dancing with the Stars, that will be returning with a new live stream. No other events so far. Sometimes with the live events, they don't announce them that far out. Yep, so just 20th Century does that one. Matt says, with the writer's strike, do you see more unscripted content being added? Yes, I do think we're going to see some of the things that they're like making now will give them a little bit of a, because they're going to be needing to think like say 6 months to a year in advance of when some of the stuff they've got starts drying out a little bit. They're going to be having to like do stuff now. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if we got some more things like we saw, like with the big fib, the cake show, the the food one, the shop class, things like that. I could see them kind of trying to use that to fill the gap. However, they might find that this time around, it might actually be easier to kind of go out and just say to the UK and Australia and stuff, can you go make us some series, and just kind of essentially go around the writer's strike by going and saying to like Disney UK, can you do a show? And that might be one way of doing it, because they have still going to have the influx of international shows. They are filming a lot of the stuff down in Australia and the UK, so that can help fill in the void. We still got the animation from the Disney side, but I think we probably are going to see some more unscripted. And I think also the biggest advantage Disney's got is that they can lean in on some of their legacy titles and stuff from like the general entertainment to help fill the gap if they need to. If they feel like they're getting a bit light, they can start chucking some stuff over, some films and some shows, and that will really help kind of offset what's going on. Keenan says, when will we get the next quarterly results for Disney Plus? So I believe, let's just get the right date. It is this week. It's coming up. I think I'm just going to need to have a look, see what date it was. It is going to be on May the 10th. So it's going to be on Wednesday. So it's on Wednesday. That's good. I suddenly remember what night that was on. So I've scheduled a Warhammer night the night before. so I suddenly went, no, we're going to double to cancel it. Noel says, can't wait for the Carter movie. Guessing you mean Crater. That one's out on Friday. Just watched it this afternoon. It was very good. I think adults might find it. It's not the most amazing film, but it was a lot better than I was expecting. A little bit hard hitting at the end. Right. Right. Okay, let's jump back in some questions. So Baba Trolling says, when do you think Hulu will add HGTV and PBS? So they announced the PBS is coming in pretty soon, and that's only, I think, for live TV. I don't think you're getting any of the library content. It's only on the live TV bundle. Caleb says, what I think of Disney Plus right now, it's still good. Can it be better? Absolutely. However, I know that between having content on streaming services don't come cheap, so they have to walk a fine line between that. I definitely feel we're in the point now where just spending money on content is not happening, and it's not going to be happening on all the different platforms. I think Disney are in a unique situation, and I feel like it made so much sense. They were making all this original content and like leaning away from linear and hardly giving them anything, but then treating linear television like, well, we can't go put that on stream. It's like now of just like, if you look at what Disney are making across all the different channels and networks and stuff, you put it all together, it is a really great option of stuff. You don't necessarily need as many originals and stuff, but I also feel like they need to maybe focus on one or two shows at a time rather than just chucking out a lot. I also surprised they've not dropped back into like weekly shows a little bit more. Things like American Born Chinese, The Muppets Mayhem. I'm surprised they, with the writer's strike, that they don't now just go all in on weekly just to stretch that content out a little bit more. Barbara Charlie says it's fine in the US. Good. I'm glad you're happy. Michael, every week I do watch the live stream and always see the same people ask questions. That's because they are YouTube channel members and patrons. That's why you see the same people, because they are long-standing members, and so that's it's kind of a perk for being for supporting us. But I like to put the video out for everyone. But sometimes I like to do this for this one. So with that there, so the question I'd like to ask you, now that the Sony deal has taken place, how many properties could come now? It's very much open. I think we're going to probably see things like Jumanji and Hotel Transylvania, those kind of things will probably end up coming over. But more importantly, some of those films from last year, like Uncharted, they have to go to Netflix for like, I think, a year, 18 months, but they can then come over to Disney Plus and Hulu. So that's going to be more fun. I think we've probably got about another year for that one there. Hello to Uniloud Entertainment. Vincent, hello to you. Kirsty says, do you think Disney Plus will do an update? And if so, what would you like to see happen? Right now, I feel with Disney Plus is there's some little tweaks they could make, like the leaving now, the coming soon. Being able to remove something from your watch list would be great. Just maybe not having just a box of just more and more rectangles, some algorithm, because it doesn't feel like there's an algorithm. It just kind of shows you what's new. There's not really, I think, like, I'm so used to like YouTube of like you watch one or two things. It's not always a good thing. Especially I've gone down a Pokemon trading card route this last couple of days. So sometimes, I think like an algorithm would be a little bit better with Disney Plus. That would be good. But ultimately, maybe just hold off until they're ready to kind of get stuff done. So Suna says, I think that Disney Plus needs more content. Yeah, I definitely feel it needs. There needs to be a better rollout of library content. I feel they're not really using that enough at the minute. I think that would be nice if they were doing that. I think that would definitely be something that they need to do. Kirsty says, what do you think of this? What do you think of what's happening with Disney and Ron DeSantis' lawsuit, and how do you think that will impact Disney? Whew. As an English person, what's happening in the US does sometimes baffle me. And yeah, so the whole thing with the Ron DeSantis suit, it just doesn't seem right. Be honest. Of what's happening there, and I do think it's going to impact Disney in the fact of, they're going to have to spend a fortune on court cases and stuff. But I don't know. I think in some ways, Disney are having to like change the shift of what they're doing and just work out what the audience wants to see. CJ says, I think it's time for Disney Plus to start developing new profiles for each movies and shows, including family-friendly anime shows, including Pokemon and Magic Knights. Yeah, I mean, I think more stuff like that would be good. It's funny you mentioned Pokemon. Yeah, I've been trying to find like who has what, and yeah, it's kind of quite difficult trying to. I think basically it was just on the Switch is the only way I could watch it. Harry says Disney Plus in the UK is pretty decent, but they need to sort out the global releases. What do you think of Will Trent? I think about watching it. I was thinking about watching. So I haven't watched it yet. My wife has carried on it. It's one of those shows of like, I need to watch it, and I keep falling behind, and I'm not watching it because like today, I ended up watching two things that are coming out later this month. So I'm that show was on. So I definitely need to check it out. But global releases is definitely needed. Something like Saint X right now. Why, like the UK and Europe and Australia and New Zealand had to wait, but Canada are getting it weekly, and it's a fantastic show. Check out Saint X. It's on Hulu in the US. Q&A, how long till Avatar of Water stays in how long of Avatar The Way of Water still in theaters for months before streaming on Disney Plus? Well, I think the thing is you got to look at Avatar The Way of Water as a very special case. First off, it is built. It's a very expensive movie to make. So it was a lot more expensive than most films. It is a film that has made more money than most other films, and so therefore still making money. Another thing as well, it's kind of made for cinema. The 3D experience is something that you don't get on Disney Plus in that same way. It looks fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it when it drops on Disney Plus again, so I can watch it for a third time. The other big problem is, and sometimes this doesn't get brought up a lot, this is probably the last film that will go to HBO Max or Max in a couple of weeks. So therefore, Disney are in no real advantage to letting it go now, because they're only going to get half the benefit. So putting it onto another service, I mean, that's if they got the rights. I'm sure they did. But if they haven't, that means that it's HBO Max has got it. At which point you can see why it's taken 9 months or so. One Up VR says it'll be 100% better when Doctor Who goes there. Yep, new series coming in November. Looking forward to that. VJ says it's really good with lots of content. Cord Cutter News says we reported yesterday that Disney is testing out free streaming channels on the ABC app. I feel that's what they should do with Hulu, where it would be free. So yeah, well, I thought ABC the app was always free and had adverts. It kind of was always a fast platform. but maybe doing channels. It makes sense for them to kind of experiment there and see if they can do that there. That would be good. I could see Hulu becoming the fast service if they're going to do that one there. Kieran says, need new profile avatars and more UK content. Yeah, definitely need a little bit more UK content. We've not got a huge amount. They keep buying stuff, but they could do with some just making a bit more and stuff over here. They definitely slow at adding avatars. They've really slowed down on that. Tyler said, I unsubscribed to Hulu, but the Kardashians should have been on Disney Plus in the US. I watch Disney. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Kardashians returning in a couple of weeks, and it's on Disney Plus internationally. So it kind of gave me a reason to watch it, and that was probably a bad thing because I've enjoyed it. All I know is every time I bring up the Kardashians on the website, on the social media, people go nuts. So I can see why in the US that this one, they're going to need to do a lot more work on getting Disney Plus in the US ready for the Kardashians. The Last Emperor of the Sith Lord says, do you know when Doctor Who is going to be coming to Disney Plus in the US? So the new specials are coming out in November. They haven't said any specific date, and they haven't said how quickly they'll arrive after they've been on the BBC in the UK. Maybe the same time, next day. They haven't announced any of those details yet, I'm afraid. No says, I want to watch Spider-Man Homecoming and Venom on May the 12th in the US, Ant-Man and the Wasp on May the 17th. But where is Amazing Spider-Man, Far From Home, Venom 2? Those other ones, depends. I think they're on Netflix or something. So they're going to be on another platform. And so we're going to have to wait until they expire before they can go on. Matt said, I think Disney Plus is in a bit of a snag when most of their non-Marvel and Star Wars originals have been lackluster and getting cancelled. Well, the thing is with the Star Wars and the Marvel are great in the fact that they don't actually cancel anything. Because as you can just move on, Moon Knight might not come back for a season 2, but Moon Knight can pop up in something else. So they got that advantage. They don't really get the negativity for that kind of thing. But I do think, like all the cancellations, we're really seeing. I mean, CBS seems to have done a few, like Squat was done, and a few other ones. So I think we're just in the point where they are trimming down how many shows. But I do think they would be better off kind of saying like third and final season and things like that. Tom, what I gather from the Your Muppets Mayhem review, since Disney brought the IP in 2004, they've made 3 bad shows, 2 great films, and a few great short films, and a great special. The Muppets Haunted Mansion was really good, and I don't know why they're not just doing more specials like that or theatrical releasing films. I definitely feel like with the Muppets Mayhem that had it been a movie, it would have been like much more condensed. The jokes would have been quicker. The pace would have been better. The series was just too long. I just found it dull because it was just too long-winded. Unilag says Disney Plus is great in streaming. Even Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is my favorite show. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're enjoying Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And I think that is the key thing. And a lot of people are like, they're in on the Marvel and the Star Wars shows, and that's what they want. But then when you say you're slowing, they say, well, there's too much of it, so we're slowing it down. Well, there's nothing else. Those big sci-fi, big shows, all the other streaming platforms aren't putting them out like weekly either. But I think people also have to start associating Disney Plus with some other kind of show. I think they need, things like A Small Light, and got films like Flaming Hot. People need to see more of this on Disney Plus to start looking to it for that in the US, because in the US they're not really doing that yet. Ken said live service is its own tier, similar to what Sling is doing right now, where free stream and blue orange tiers are different. I feel like the trouble with these fast services is that there's too many of them. There's too many of them trying to compete. At the minute, the streaming services are all selling stuff to them while they test everything out and get some free cash. They are eventually, I think, going to end up doing their own thing, and there is going to be some serious coming together of some of these platforms, because they all can't survive the way it is right now. Uniloud, thank you very much for your super chat. Thank you so much for that one there. The War Avatar is still playing in theaters. Yes, they recently did a repush for Earth Day a couple of weeks ago. Ricardo says, hello Roger, I really like Disney. I like Disney Plus really well. Only I would have to use a VPN to see more content. I have issues with Hulu, actually. Yeah, I can imagine that one. Noah says we need Spider-Man No Way Home and Morbius on Disney Plus. So Morbius would be coming. I think that one there would fall under that came out after Uncharted. So it could, in theory, arrive maybe the end of the year or beginning of next year. No Way Home's probably a while off yet. Tom says, do you think we could get the Easter Bunny spin-off of the Santa Clauses? Probably not. I wouldn't have thought so. They have to be really good. Saeed says, I bet Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny will be streaming in the fall of 2023. Yeah, so if it comes out at the end of June, what's that, July, August, September. So I'd probably say October is probably when that one's going to drop in. Ricardo says it's been reported that in different video stores around the country, around the world, that Indiana Jones are appearing with the Disney logo with the posters. Well, right, I've not heard of that, but I'll have to have a look into that one. CJ says we need to get the stars profiles on Disney Plus in the US. 100% on that one. According to the Disney Plus system, Futurama is now appearing with the Star Original seal. That could mean a release date for a new season could be near. We're almost on summer. Yeah, I would definitely say it's going to be. I mean, it's a Star Original. I mean, it will be. So it makes a lot of sense for that to maybe start popping up in the system. Hopefully we'll get a trailer pretty soon. Summer, yeah, like you say, but summer doesn't really start till the middle of June officially. So it might, and if it runs through to like September, they've got a while yet. No, says I think I will announce Marvel SDC, Marvel Phase 5, and Marvel Phase 6. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're going to do this year at San Diego Comic-Con because if that's not normally like July, so Secret Invasion will be underway. We might be getting, if we got Loki coming up later this year. I mean, they could go there and show a bit of Loki, maybe show a bit of Ironheart or Echo and a bit of the Marvels. But I don't know if they're gonna. I think with everything going on right now, I would imagine that I wouldn't be at all surprised if they skipped it. Especially if they're spreading everything out a little bit more. I don't think they're going to announce anything more for Phase 5 or 6 with the writer's strike in place right now. They still have to officially announce Wonder Man. But I don't think they're in a position now with everything slowing down that they really necessarily need to do that right now. So I just lost my place. Here we go. Tom says, with the Disney Plus organization with the A to Z, it's bad. Some of the Marvel shows is listed on the Marvel Studios, and some are the title of their own. Yeah, there's a lot of little issues. Vincent says, may the force be with you, and to you too. Knoxwave says, will the writer's strike happen? Does Daredevil Born Again will affect the show with the other films since Blade has been halted? I think the thing is with Daredevil, it depends whether or not the scripts are completely done. That might be an issue. Obviously, they wouldn't have writers on the set making any adjustments. Now, they are set to be filming all of this year, so they've still got supposed to be another 5-6 months of filming. What I could see them doing is if they get to a point where they could end up maybe like splitting the season in two, and therefore like using what they've got like next year, and then like filming the rest, because that's going to be the key. It depends on if they got those scripts ready, because they knew that this strike was coming and they've been stockpiling scripts and stuff. So it depends. They might have got enough scripts and stuff in place to do so. Matt says, why are so many shows cancelled after 2 seasons? Viewership and costs. Generally, series tend to go up in price in terms of how much they cost to make after a 3rd season, which is why a lot of shows don't go beyond that. So that's one definitely issue. Also, there is kind of generally a lot of it is down to cost, but also the viewing figures. If after a 2nd season the numbers are dripping, the viewing numbers have come down, that might indicate what they're doing. So that's definitely an issue going forward. Irvine says, what is your favorite Doctor from Doctor Who? So I would definitely say David Tennant. It would be my favorite. So that's why I'm looking forward to these specials coming up. I did really enjoy the Christopher Eccleston when they rebooted the series. I thought he was really good. He also had, was it? Oh, we've gone blank now. Matt, he was good as well. I thought he was really good. I grew up on Sylvester McCoy and also think it was Colin Baker. Those are the two that I grew up watching, especially Sylvester McCoy. He was the one. But I would definitely say David Tennant is the one. If I could pick one, that would be the one. So I'm really glad with that one. Hello to Azar. Now, a big thank you to Azar. That was a good little tip. So he has actually he designed all of the artwork at the beginning of the new logo and stuff of the streaming. So big thank you to him. So definitely go check him out. And I will do this quick flash now, so you can find him on Instagram, and you can also email him as well. So big thank you to him for the new look Q&A. So that's definitely something. And I'm going to bring up his question again. Where was it? This is the thing with when it's open up, there's so many more questions. So trying to find everything. It's where has it gone? Sorry, Azza. Here we go. Do you think the Owl House would not have been cut short if it was a Disney Plus project? It was a great show. I feel again we're in that territory of 3 seasons seems to be the point where they tend to pull the trigger on it. It's either done really well, and also the trouble is with these kind of shows is there's one thing if you've got a show that's done like I don't know, say let's pick just a random number. So let's keep it simple. So you get a show that does say 100 million views. I don't think globally or whatever, right? And then it just drops season on season on season. It's like at season 5, maybe it's at half of what it was to begin with. It's still really good. The trouble is when you've got a show which doesn't do that and it's dropping, and then therefore that's the kind of the issue with some of those things. Matt says, do you think they should make an Ant-Man collection when they drop the 3rd film? Yes, 100%. Tom says, I absolutely love The Small Light. Looking forward to watching episodes 3 and 4 on Tuesday. How many episodes will there in total? There is 8. There's 8 altogether. Fanboy says, I could see them adding more Searchlight pictures in the US. Yeah, I think Searchlight is definitely a key to kind of getting stuff in. Matt says, do you think Dancing with the Stars will include commercials even for premium subscribers, or will they get additional content during the commercial breaks? I 100% think that you're going to be getting commercials. You're going to be getting the exact same stream as on ABC, just with adverts, because now this year the ad tier is in place, and the new terms and conditions that everyone signed when they did it, there was something in there, if I remember rightly, that you might get some. So if it's on a live stream, they're going to be able to get away with certain things. So this year, I suspect they will have it. The Last Emperor of Sith Lord says, do you know when it's going? No, we've done that question. C Tan says Disney Plus Hotstar is a bit weird in presenting a few animated shorts that like separate films. I am Groot. Forky asked a question. How are they presented on Disney Plus? Right, let's bring that one up for you so we can have a quick look. I'll bring it up a bit bigger than that so we can see it. Right, so I am Groot. I think they are all separate, and Forky, they're all listed separately as well. So yeah, so it is exactly the same. It is. I don't know why they do it like that, but that's just how they do that, which is a bit odd. Ryan says, could Disney buy the rights to the Cartoon Network adult show? Nah, they've got no interest in buying stuff like that. They've got 20th 20th television. They don't need it. Noah says, you had a Pepsi Max. Yes, I am currently drinking Pepsi Max. Not sponsored, just I like Pepsi Max. And other colas are available. Save me one. Why do you think Disney keeps feeding Hulu? There are some things like Rosalind, that's it, trying to get the word, that are PG-13 that could have been Disney Plus originals. Right. So the thing is with Hulu is, and I use this analogy a lot. Say you're selling your house, or you're trying to do something with your house, and it's on the market, or you've got a buyer hooked. You might even have a buyer, but you have to keep it up. You have to keep painting the outside. You have to keep, if you knock something or damage something inside, that you've got to try and keep it up. If it's on the market and you're trying to flog it, you need to put it out in its best light. What Disney can't do is start removing stuff and making it look like they have given up, because who's going to want to buy it like that? So that's one issue. The other issue is if Comcast can see that Disney are actively trying to essentially devalue Hulu before they buy it, there could be some issues there, contract-wise or lawsuit-wise. So there's a lot more to it than just Comcast is still involved. They're still an owner. They aren't going to want, If you've got a third of the house owned by somebody else, they're going to want to get their money. They don't want you messing around. So there's that kind of thing of why the big green machine is still getting fed. Dana says, thoughts on the coronation? Honestly, I thought it was a bit dull. I did say that it wasn't very fun. I'm going to watch the concert after we've done the live stream. I'm going to be watching that. That's probably going to be a lot more fun. It didn't feel very. I mean, the funeral seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed very dull. I don't know. Matt says, what do you think when we'll see more grownish episodes on Disney Plus in the US? Not sure. I'm currently working my way through the second batch of the 5th episode. So the 6th season is coming later this summer. So that might be when they start dropping stuff. So it can get a bit serious in terms of some of the content in there. I mean, there was one episode I was watching the other day and it was like drug taking and stuff. So there's definitely stuff in there. Noah says, what about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on Disney Plus? It arrived on Disney Plus internationally. Again, it probably falls under the same problem that other ones done. Randy says, Disney Plus can't abandon Hulu with Comcast owning a third of it. Yeah, so yeah, that's why they have to be there. John says, when do you think Disney Plus should add the 7th season of Rescue Me? So that's probably going to be down to Sony of what their rights are, because I noticed that's been a little bit all over the place. Let's see what else we've got here. I'm just going to try and pull out some questions. Kairu Godzilla, I love that name. Hope they're adding The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and other films pretty soon. Hope so too. Tyler says, I honestly think the Sony deal is just for the Spider-Verse films. Well, in the press release that they put out for the US, it did say Jumanji and Hotel Transylvania. And they've got the rights to their pay 2 window for all their films. I thought Will Trump was pretty good, but I couldn't, not enough to hook me past episode 1. Yeah, I need to watch that as well, Tom. Barbara Trolling says, do you think that the Warner Brothers Discovery is more valuable now for sale because of Max is profitable? It definitely makes it more in line. I think the trouble is with Max and with Warner Brothers Discovery right now is I'm not sure if the countries governments would allow Comcast and Warner Brothers Discovery to merge. I don't know if that would be allowed. CJ says in the US, Disney Plus should start making films like No Way Home alternative web cut movie available. Yeah. So there was extra scenes in there, so that would be good. Matt also says, I hope they share more content between Hulu and Disney. I think we're going to see a lot more of that moving forward. I really do. Michael says, I feel like in the next few years, we'll see more general entertainment come to Disney Plus. I also think Disney is selling or buying the rest of Hulu is a 50-50. Also, thank you for my first question. No worries. That's what we're here for. C-Tan says, do you think Disney Plus will be profitable by next year? Yes, because with the ad tier, the price rise, that's the key thing. The US price rise, spending less money on content in India is all going to help feed into it. Reduce costs, because that's going to be the key thing. If they can get their costs under control, that is going to be the key thing. They always planned on it being profitable by 2024. So things could definitely speed up. Kayla said it's a smart thing for the BBC to get the upcoming season of Dancing with the Stars simultaneous on ABC and Disney Plus. I know the Disney Plus will simulcast the ABC feed, but blacking out the commercials. I suspect they will put other adverts on top of it. If there's a way of making money, they'll do it. Matt says, do you see more animation on different countries like Visions? I hope so. The more the better. Fanboy says, I could see them adding more Searchlight pictures. Yes, we've done that one. Just remember, if you've asked a question, I'm going through them as fast as I can, but obviously, if you put your question in and then later on I might jump over it. Fancy says, Disney Plus on Xbox is just horrible. The experience. Wow, I got a 3-month deal and never subscribed because of the experience. I don't think Disney takes our app experiences seriously. So it's funny you say, to be honest, I don't use my Xbox for apps, so I don't tend to watch it. So depends what Xbox you're on as well. Maybe that might be it. But yeah, that's the first I've heard of the Xbox. I'll let if there's anybody else having Xbox issues, let us know. But that's a problem sometimes with apps of all these different things. I tend to watch mine on my Sky Q and on I've used it on my PlayStation sometimes and on my smart TV. But I never use my Xbox for apps. I don't know why. Gary says, second week in a row, there's no new Hong Kong movie being added to Disney Plus. Miss all the Saturday premieres. I suspect they're trying to cut costs. I suspect they're going to start cutting back on this stuff. They'll probably only need to do the minimum they need to. I do feel if SmackDown TV rights were open market and ABC delivers a better bid than Fox, Disney Plus could be a simulcast partner in the US. I think they could go for it. I mean, if Disney got like, because they've done this with other shows where they will get, when they get the rights to what they want, they try and spread it out so that they can use it on any of their platforms. But I think trying to go for global rights might be very expensive. But it would be good for them. I mean, I'd love it. It would be great. I'm not gonna lie. Put WWE on there as well. That would be fantastic. Do you think we'll see an Ant-Man's behind the scene from Ant-Man? Yeah, we'll see the assembled episode probably the week or two after the film comes out. Noah says he can't wait for Secret Invasion and the future of MC. Secret Invasion looks good. I'm looking forward to that one. Randy says they need to make more shows that are relatively cheap to make and don't need a lot of viewers to make it. It's catch-22. The trouble is, if you keep making these kind of cheap shows, because you think back to like the first year or two with Disney Plus, there was a lot of like real cheap shows. And yes, you don't need as many people watch it, but you kind of get a reputation for making cheap shows. And I don't think Disney are in that situation that those kind of things they need to. I think they'd be. You kind of look at it like, would you be better off taking all that money from 4 bad shows or cheap shows and making one good one? But then you've also, and this is, I think, the key thing, you've got ABC News that can make some documentaries that can help fluff it out. National Geographic can put in some documentaries and help fill it out. And they're probably going to need to do that over the next year or so. You got all the different studios making stuff. So there's lots of stuff to go. Matt says, do you think Disney Plus Day this year will be in September, coincide with Destination D23, or in November for its actual anniversary? Well, actually, right. So the key thing is the actual anniversary of Disney Plus does not exist in the fact that was only when it launched in the United States. It's not its actual proper anniversary because it actually launched in the Netherlands like 6 weeks before that. So the November date wasn't real, and also that November date for the anniversary means nothing for 95 countries that have Disney Plus. It's literally only 5 countries or 4 countries that had it on November date. I think the November date is a little bit better in the terms of trying to get subscribers in for the holiday season is when they're more likely going to get it. I think that's a good time to do it. I don't think September. Destination D23 is nothing like D23 Expo. Destination D23 is held at I think it's at the Colorado resort at Walt Disney World, and it's primarily just focused on Walt Disney World stuff. So there might be a live stream. They did one before an event, but they're probably not going to tie it in with it. I don't think it helps. I actually don't think it was good tying it in with D23. I think it's extended. They lost, basically. They just built. They kind of lost it, I think, a little bit. Gary says, I noticed that Arrested Development is showing up on Disney Plus Hong Kong, but only the first 3 seasons. Where's the Netflix? I suspect the Netflix ones are staying there because we've only got the first 3 seasons as well. MC says, do you think that, or maybe Hulu merges with Disney Plus in this year? It won't happen this year. If it does, I would put late 2024 or early 2025. CJ says, I believe that Disney Plus should start making more animated short films about Bible adventures and Sinbad and Young Adventures and his own. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to go down as well. That's quite restrictive in terms of who might watch that kind of shows. But I mean, there's an audience for it. MC says, do you think we'll get more 20th Century Studios on Disney Plus? Yes, I hope we'll start getting some of the new ones. I think that would be a really good thing to start putting some of the big, like if they would put like The Haunting of Venice and like Chevalier and put them on Disney Plus and Hulu, I think that would be really good. CJ says Disney and Pokemon should start their own version of the animated NCU franchise together and be the first 2D animated movie. That'll be good. I'm definitely happy to have Pokemon in there as well. C-Tan says Disney Plus must turn its attention to international content, especially with the writer's strike. No telling how long it's going to last. I think they will do that. They're probably going to be trying to make content as well, like in some countries to get around it, but also if it depends if it's cheaper, but also it's trying to compete with these quotas, because if you've got Australia and Canada and UK and Europe and other countries having quotas and they're having to make a lot more stuff there, that will incentivize them to make more content. But also try and make shows that everyone can watch. That's more palatable for everybody. Kelly says, speaking of Doctor Who, remember Family Guy did a parody of Doctor Who farted. I know there's humor isn't for everyone, but it did make me laugh. That made me laugh just reading that. Do our RWBY series in Marvel. I don't know what that is. Ruby. MC, do you think we'll get some more Sony movies and TV shows on Disney Plus in the US? Probably the movies more than the TV shows. Donna says, I watch your channel every week. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy it. Michael says, I still have to start watching Small Light. Give it a go. Definitely give it a go. Fanboy says, I think at San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel will announce the Fantastic Four cast. Heard many reports that Adam Driver is going to be cast as Reed Richards, aka Miss. Yeah, that could work. That could definitely be a big announcement. Though, are they going to be able to keep it a secret until then? Matt says, do you think Disney Plus could get an upgrade in 2024? Yeah, I think the upgrade is going to have to come at some point. Whether or not they put ESPN Plus available within it to pay separately, that would be a good way of boosting subs. Also, just sorting stuff out. Donna says he's playing Mario 3D All Stars. Mario, yeah, I've got. I think I had to pick that one up. I actually fired up my Switch last night for the first time, and I was playing a little bit of. Well, I was in Mario All Stars on the SNES or Super Nintendo. Matt says, could we see a behind the scenes Newton John's film added to Disney Plus? I don't know. I don't know anything about that one. Tom says the way Disney are going with the Muppets, at some point they're just going to have to let the overworked, tired cash cow die. The thing is, it's hard to say with the Muppets Mayhem. People, it might find an audience. It just wasn't for me. That's the trick. I think the trouble is, I think the Muppets are better off in small doses. And they need to be. I think the new audience today is trying to find who they connect with, because nostalgia only goes so far. You have to go for a new generation. I think the Muppets Kids show, I think that one did well, but I think they've got to find a new way, and I think that's the key thing. I think they've just got to try and find it. Donald says he doesn't like the idea of Hulu and Disney Plus merging. There's definitely a thing of that. It's kind of like in here, Matt saying the opposite. There's definitely a case of some people like Disney Plus the way it is, and a lot of people want. I definitely feel like moving forward, the streaming industry needs some consolidation. It's too complicated the way it is. It's funny. I had my mum and dad over. We're out there having a cup of tea, and we were talking about a new show they were watching, and they couldn't tell us the name. And they couldn't tell us what street, and and they were explaining it to us, and they were like, that could be on anything. It could be on Amazon, Paramount, Netflix, whatever. And this was the thing of just they did this. It was just, there were so many different platforms. We didn't have a clue what they were talking about. Mohammed says the Middle East and North Africa version isn't the best because they don't have most of the Disney Channel shows and is missing content. Do you think the UI will improve? There's been a lot of improvements to the UI out in Southeast Asia recently, so I suspect that's going to start rolling in. I don't get why they launched a different version of the app there. I there must be something in there. Don't know why. Wonder when the Ghost Rider movie will arrive. They're already here in the UK, but again, they're Sony movies, so they could pop up. CJ says, oh yeah, now that Disney Plus movie No Way Home alternative, we've done that one. Kaylee says, what I mean by blacking out commercials is means that Disney Plus isn't going to air a commercial for ABC 7 Eyewitness News. It was just like the thing of taking on a Spider-Man show. Right. CJ says Spider-Woman from another universe will be played by Selena Gomez and Keanu Reeves as Doctor Strange. See, I think they need to do the exact opposite. Honestly, I think Marvel are vastly overcomplicating things with the multiverse, and I think they need to try and get this thing way back under control, because general audiences do not understand it, and yeah, they need to. I think the multiverse stuff needs to come to an end. Matt says, I've seen lots of shows getting cancelled on ABC, Fox, and CBS. What are your thoughts? It's normal. It normally happens. The trouble is now is that A gets a lot more attention, but also there are so many more shows. They were making hundreds and hundreds of shows a year, and it's unsustainable. And that's the key thing. We had the gold rush. We had an amazing time of so many amazing shows, but now they're having to pay for it. They were spending more money than they were taking in, and that was unsustainable. And we were, I think we're going to be going back to kind of the pandemic era for the next year. I think we're going to start seeing stuff coming down. Fanboy says, do you think we'll get any updates about Goosebumps Disney Plus series? Probably soon. You got to. I would imagine that's more likely going to be like maybe a Halloween series, like to Just Beyond. That would be when I would put it in. So Isaiah says, now that Blaze Production has been shut down due to serious rewrites and the strike, would this have ripple effects, or will they just make adjustments to other projects and keep them on track? I think this might be. I actually think with Blade that they actually probably need to put this either. This project just seems to be all over the place. So they need to sort. I don't think it would be a bad idea for them just to shimmy Blade back a little bit. I don't know if it affects into any other shows or something, but I think 3 films next year would be enough. I think 4 is too many, and this might be good for them to do that. I think that's definitely. Matt says, how long do you think it's going to last? The trouble is if the directors strike and the actors strike coming up soon, if they all end up going on strike, this is going to cause a massive problem. And everyone wants more money. And if they do that, we are going to see a shift again in shows having to be more profitable. We're going to see more cancellations. We're going to see less stuff overall. But ultimately, everyone working on those shows needs better money. I do feel like, personally, I feel like the residual system doesn't work so well in streaming. So what I would be looking at it going, they need to be paid way much more upfront. Way much more. If you're not going to do residuals, you're going to have to pay them so much more at the beginning to make it worthwhile. You can't. The way they're doing it right now is just, it's not good. It's not good for the writers. It's not good. We all hear about the Hollywood stars and all the rest of it getting massive paychecks that we would never see in our lifestyle. Those aren't the people that we need to. They're not the ones that are the ones that we need to worry about. It's the people working on the shows, the people doing the lights, the sorting stuff out, getting all the people making the shows and stuff are not on that kind of money. And the trouble is, we kind of visualize everyone there making a lot of money, but there's a lot of people in Hollywood and stuff making films that aren't making enough money to live, and that needs to be changed. I don't know if the system that they've got in place is the right way of doing it, and what they want might not be sustainable. But there has to be something, and that might be paying a lot more up front, so they don't have to do a residual system on streaming. Or there's just, some of the stuff they're coming up with just doesn't seem right. But they definitely need to be looking after just the people making the shows, because without the writers and all the people else working on these shows, we don't get anything, and we need them, and they need to be paid accordingly. How it works in the 20, like nowadays, it's way above what I can think of, but that's the way I'd be looking at trying to offset like bigger money up front, because I think that's the reason why all these shows are getting cancelled at like 3-4 seasons, is because they're costing more to make. So it's a very tricky situation. But yeah, it's very tricky. But yeah, they need to be paid correctly. They need to be paid fairly. And directors and stuff, everyone's going to have to be paid correctly, and also just that's the key thing. But we are going to end up seeing less, and that might not be a bad thing. We've probably had way too much. Daryl says, would a Doctor Who come to Disney Plus in all episodes or all seasons? It looks like it's just new seasons. All right, so I'm going to give a warning. So we've got about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to go down these questions and just try and pick out people that I've not asked, that I've not answered something. So Azir, what are the odds that Blade will be scrapped altogether? It wouldn't surprise me on that one. Daniel says, I can't wait to watch Secret Mission. I think you mean Secret Invasion, but yeah, that one looks pretty good. Jeffrey, so hello to you. Will we ever see ESPN merge with Disney Plus? I don't think we'll see it merge. I think the trouble is with the sports platforms, if they launch a proper streaming service, it is going to cost a lot more money than Disney. If they put it's kind of weird because the US system was that, the linear network was that they made you all pay for sports, whether you wanted to watch it or not. Here in the UK, we didn't have that system. If you wanted the entertainment package, you had the entertainment package. If you had the movie package, you paid for movies. And if you wanted sports, you paid sports. To pay for all of it, even if you didn't want it, is why cord cutting took off. And the trouble is they all got used to that money. So that essentially, if they added in ESPN Plus into Disney Plus, you are going to be looking at it probably costing 30 to 40. And if they merged in Hulu, you're going to be looking at about $50 a month, maybe $60 a month. If they merged them all in together, that would be the problem. But I do think we could end up seeing ESPN Plus as a like a hub, a paid add-on, so you can pay because I think it's going to go up again. Because if they get like the NBA and NFL on there, it's going to cost a lot more money. Let's just see here. Thank you very much. No, thank you very much for popping by. Oh, it's a Rooster Teeth show. Okay, I haven't watched Rooster Teeth. The only things I used to watch was one of their YouTube shows about video games, and then they kind of stopped doing it. Matt says, what do you think of the Hot Flaming Cheetos trailer? The trailer's not out yet. The trailer's not out for a couple more days yet. CJ says, who are you to judge my ideas? I am the law. The reference to Judge Dredd there. Michael, what do you think about the Darkwing Duck reboot coming to Disney Plus? I haven't heard. Yeah, I have not heard anything about that for a long time. Fanboy says, I don't think it's just the multiverse. I think it's a rush writing. They didn't take their time. I think that's been a problem with everything. This too much. They're just making too much. Do you think it's a catch-22 of the writers needing more money from streaming, while at the same time these companies are losing money on streaming? Yeah, this is where we're at. With they are having to sort this stuff out. It's a very tricky situation. The simple thing is streaming doesn't bring in as much money as linear did, and they can't turn streaming into linear because it's just not going to work. Like I said, if they do that, they all have to start bundling everything, so they have to pay. So yeah, there is a big problem. They've got to try and work it out. But ultimately, the people that are working on the show have to get paid to be able to live. That's the key thing. Let's see. Where's Disney Plus? I don't know. I'm not quite sure on that one. Sam says, do you know when High School Musical the series season 4 is coming to Disney Plus? No, we've not heard anything on that one. Jeffrey, I think I got what you meant on that one. Don't worry about it. Tom says, even if they're just some new Muppet characters or reintroduce original ones to get younger audiences, I think the Muppets, I think shorter is better. I think they need to be, I think something like Muppets Now might work a little bit better. Just do some little shorts, little skags, get them involved more on social media, TikTok-y things and YouTubers. Do some interviews with like celebrities. I think they've just got to have a bit of fun with it, but keep it short. I don't think they can do what they've been doing. Daniel says, will we know when Ironheart will be released? We don't know. Remember, there's still Echo, Secret Invasion, and Loki coming this. If they come this year, I think Ironheart has already been pushed back into next year. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Echo gets pushed back because of they're not, especially with everything going on. I think they're going to spread it out. Let's see what else we got. That would make sense because that's what Peacock started and Paramount Plus. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Ryan says, will Elemental be success? I hope so. It looks good. I'm just wanting them to have a good one. Ricardo says, analysis, Paramount needs to shut down its streaming services because they need fast money. He said the option is to act like Sony and deliver content to the rest of the services. I think we're at a point because I think I was watching something the other day and Paramount, they were talking about Paramount Plus being like the 5th or 6th service that people sign up. I'll be honest, I have got Paramount Plus. I can't log into it because I can't remember my password and I keep trying to log in and it keeps I can't even get in it. And as the thing is, I barely watch anything on it. I think I was watching like Yellowstone, and that was about it. And the Good Wife was as American Wife was the US Pride. Oh, the First Wife, that's it. But I think they do need to. They definitely need. I think Paramount licensing out probably makes sense. I think they could maybe have a streaming. The simple thing is, we're at a point now where every person can't subscribe to 5 or 6 platforms. My mum was saying the other day, she's cutting one. I mean, I've got quite a few, but I could get rid of Paramount Plus like that. I could get rid of Sky Cinema. I signed up on like an 18-month deal to get Paramount Plus. When that's up, I'm dropping it because it's just cheaper for me just to rent a movie, the amount of stuff that's coming on it. Right. So on that, I'm gonna so we're 8 o'clock. So this is the time I put aside to do it. So we've been doing this one for an hour, and the concert has just started for the King. So I would like to watch that one there. So I hope you all have had a fantastic weekend. So here in the UK, and I don't know about other places within the Commonwealth, we've actually got a bank holiday Monday, but I'm going to be working anyway. I hope you've all enjoyed the coronation. Again, this live stream decided to do a little bit different and open up to everyone. Next week's Q&A will be the standard format with Patreon and our YouTube channel members. The following weekend will be a pre-recorded one. So Patreon and YouTube channel members, keep a lookout because I'm going to be asking for your questions much earlier than normal so I can record it in advance, and then I'll be back live and the week after. So there is just a continued one. But our next live, the open one, I'm not sure when it'll be. It'll be probably a while off until we do that one. So yeah, so thank you again. Thank you for all your questions. Thanks for jumping in. We had a lot. I must admit, it was quite nice having so many questions, so many different ones, and not too much drama in the chat. So that was good. I think I might need to put, if I do this again, we might need a few things. But again, thank you so much to everyone. Hope you enjoy it. Go watch the coronation concert or watch something on Disney Plus. That would be fantastic. But on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. See you guys soon. Laters.